Hi, welcome back to another segment. This is a spin the wheel predictions for the next super edition and novella set that we'll get. So not the ones that are already released. So Gray Stripes Vow is the next super edition coming out this fall, and the next novella set coming out 2021, A Warrior's Choice, is released. So this will be the super edition for fall 2021 and the novella set for spring 2022. Wow. So anyway, so I wanted to be clear up front, these are just my predictions. I have no idea if these are true. They're probably not, but these are just some ideas and why I think they might have high possibilities. Also, these are not the cats like I would want to get super editions or novellas, because otherwise Ivy, Pool, Jay Feather, and Cinderbelt would be on this list, and they are not, because I don't think that they actually have a chance. I would love that, but I don't think so. I actually think they have better chances of maybe whatever the next arc is, because my poor Jay Feather's probably getting up there in years, and that would probably be a time for him to get one. But anyway, so they won't be on the list. But I will go into a little explanation. First, I'm going to do the super editions because the novellas are pretty random. There's not really much of a pattern with those, but there is for the super editions. So I read A Vision of Shadows when all the books were out. The Broken Code had just started when I started reading this series. So I really got a good, I had to look on the wiki a lot to figure out which book to read next. But anyway, I was looking at the books, and I figured out that there is a very clear pattern on how they release super editions with arcs. So every arc has 6 books. If you haven't read Warriors, that's how they work, for better or for worse. And I've noticed that it usually takes them like 3 years to get through to write that series. So you usually get like 3 super editions in that time. So for that, you get one super edition is like the prequel book for that arc. And for A Vision of Shadows, that was Hawkwing's Journey. You can read Hawkwing's Journey before you read A Vision of Shadows, and nothing's spoiled in that arc for you. It's supplementary information that's before that arc starts. In fact, I think it's better to read that book because that's what I did. So I think that's a better time actually to read it. You get a lot of information about Sky Clan and what was going on. So, and foreshadowing the villain for that arc, or at least for half of that arc. But anyway, so you get that one, and then Tigerheart Shadow takes place sometime in the middle of that arc. Meaning, it's probably best to read the entire arc and then go back and reread the supplementary story about Tigerheart Star. And that was the next super edition that was released. Then Crowfeather's Trial was released, and that one was pretty new when I first started. It was still in hardback. I couldn't get it paperback right away. I had to go back and buy that one separately because I have all the paperbacks. But anyway, so Crowfeather's Trial is kind of random. It doesn't really line up, except, Crowfeather becomes deputy in that arc, but that's really it. Crowfeather's Trial just takes place at a different point in time, and it's just to get his story. So it kind of goes, with the 6-book arc, you get a prequel super edition, then you get a middle of the arc super edition, and then you get just random book. So I used that formula. When Gray Stripes Vow was released, I was like, oh, this formula is lining up again. And that allows me to try to predict what the third one will be, because it narrows it down quite a bit. Because Squirrelflight's Hope is a prequel to the Broken Code arc. And then Gray Stripes Vow, we know from the blurb, is going to take place sometime in the middle of the arc. And then that leaves this kind of quote-unquote Crowfeather's Trial super edition, where we're going to get a super edition that's just random. At least that's my prediction, anyway, because that matches the pattern that we're seeing. And it'd be great. Then we can get another story that's sometime in the past that we didn't get. So anyway, based on that formula, I'm going to predict this, and these are not the cats I'd like to see. Some of them I'm excited about, but most every cat I'd be excited about hearing from, for the most part. Anyway, so I'm going to say number 1 on this list is the cat I think is most likely to get a super edition, but I'm gonna start. I only have 3 that I think so. And all these could be totally wrong. This is just guessing, just based on this. And I have reasons for why I think this too. Anyway, so number 3 is Snowtuft. And I would never have put Snowtuft, and I also put a kind of subtext on my list, like, or some other Dark Forest cat, because I could see a Dark Forest cat maybe being like a mastermind behind this entire plan. Because as I said in my villain analysis, I don't think Ashfur is, the main villain. I think he's just a pawn. And if that is the case, I think that there's a mastermind behind all this. And when book 5 was released, it was called, like, it's the book 5 of the Broken Code isn't released, but they released the cover and the title and a blurb on it on the wiki if you want to go check that out. But it's called A Place of No Stars, and it's like, ooh, the Dark Force is getting more involved. Uh-oh. And if that is the case, that it's very possible that the one driving this whole plan is there, and that's why it's kind of going into that detail. Like, Snowtuft, we know almost nothing about. I really, really want to know more about him. Like, why does he have a huge scar? Like, he doesn't seem so evil. He kind of seems like a wimp, really. And when we hear about him in Omen of the Stars, but I'm like, why is he a Dark Forest cat? It doesn't make sense. Really. But of course, you have Shred Tail, Maggot Tail. One Eye could still be floating around in there for all I know. I doubt it, because he'd probably be fated by now, but who knows, maybe. Maybe the first Dark Forest cat just gets like the first leaders or something. Maybe he's just immortal, and I don't know. Anyway, not One Eye the Elder. One Eye from Dawn of the Clans, by the way. There's 2 One Eyes. Anyway, so it's possible, maybe, I think, that one of those cats could be the mastermind, and if that's the case, maybe we could get a super edition on one of them to explain in more detail why they would want to enforce the warrior code so strongly and tear apart the clans that way. Maybe. Who knows? I have no clue. That's just my guess on that. And I don't think it's a very likely scenario. But I had to put on the list because I was like, that's where my brain went. Anyway. And if you want to hear me talk a little bit more about Dark Forest cats, check out my villain analysis fireside chat, where I go into some more detail on that. Anyway. My second one is some Dawn of the Clan leader, and I have Gorstar, Riverstar, and Skystar. Personally, I would really love to hear Riverstar more. I loved his bonus chapters in the Dawn of the Clans series. I love Dawn of the Clans. And Gorstar I'd like to know more about. I think Gorstar could probably just have a novella, honestly, but, a super edition would be great too. The cat I actually think that has the best chance maybe at a super edition is probably either Riverstar, though, or Skystar would even be a great one, because I know a lot of people don't like Skystar, and yes, he is a jerk. But he is honestly what makes Dawn of the Clans so interesting, because he has a lot of drama, but it's good drama and growth. And yes, a lot of people are like, growth? But he really did. He really grew and really tried to make a difference, and that's actually what caused all the other drama that unfolded in that arc. Giving him another, spotlight might be interesting, and then we could maybe even see who was the next leader of SkyClan after him, because he was pretty old, by Shadowstar's life, which is novella, so maybe it would be like his later years or something, and supposedly Starflower and other litter of kits, maybe get some more insight on that. It's hard to tell, but I'd love to see him, be his little jerk self, but yet we are along for the ride and seeing how he improves. But basically, I think a Dawn of the Clans character has a chance of maybe getting a super edition. We haven't had much Dawn of the Clans information for a little while, so it'd be good to kind of go back and maybe explore some more of that so it doesn't, grow stale and stuff, in the mind, so we can stay a little bit relevant. But anyway, who knows? Then there comes a cat I think is probably the most likely to get a super edition, and that is Leopardstar. And I never would have thought that until I read A Shadow and River Clan, the graphic novel. I really like that graphic novel, if you can't tell. I did a character corner on Feathertail. But in that graphic novel, Leopardstar actually has it's a minor character arc because she's not the main character. But she definitely has a character arc of, being apologetic about what happened with Tiger Star, and it's definitely made me think maybe that graphic novel exists too to set up a Leopard Star Super Edition. Who knows? It could definitely happen. I think it would be interesting to get another RiverClan POV. I mean, we literally only have one RiverClan Super Edition and only 2 novellas from RiverClan. If that tells you something. I definitely think having a RiverClan Super Edition next would be great. Another scenario here, I think, too, would be you could totally just like pick a random RiverClan cat and just write about it. I know this isn't used much. I think Hawkwing's like the only time that's ever done. But it would be good because then you could set up that cat becoming the next leader, because I don't know if Whisker going to survive to be the next leader of RiverClan. I have no clue. He's pretty old. And yeah, I have no idea. But anyway, so I think Leopard Star probably has the highest chance. In my mind, I'm like, just pick a random RiverClan cat and talk about it. But either way, I want some RiverClan content. But, you know, Leopard Star probably has a high chance of getting that Super Edition spot. So we'll see. It'll probably be, like, the next Super Edition will probably be released, like, maybe sometime, like, this fall or, like, you know, or early winter, like the title and cover or something. So we'll find out then. Could be wrong, but I think she has a shot. So then I did a little bit, so there's no formula for the novellas, but I went through and tried to pick out some cats who have, you know, some level of relevancy in the plots, and some cats who might have had a gap where we could go back and explore some details about their lives. You know, most of these cats I actually wouldn't necessarily care about, but I would definitely read their novellas. But I want to send a 4-star novella, but, you know, I didn't put them on this list. So anyway, number 6, I did Berry Nose. I don't think he's likely since Daisy, his mom, is getting a novella, which I'm excited about. But I feel like Berry Nose died pretty quickly in the Broken Boat. Spoilers. But, you know, maybe he's got a short story to tell about being deputy, or something like that, or being, you know, like dying before he died. I don't know. Either way, Berry Nose has been relevant really the whole time. Like, even though he's a background character, he's always had a little bit of relevancy throughout every plot. Like, no matter which book you read, Berry Nose is there on patrol yelling at someone. So, you know, I thought maybe, who knows? I don't think it's likely, but maybe. Maybe Stumpy Tailboy will finally get some POV time and we can get inside his head, which would be a journey. But anyway, not likely, but possible. Number 5 is Quiet Rain or Sun Shadow. And I picked out just a few more Dawn of the Clan characters just to sprinkle in here. Sun Shadow and Quiet Rain both journey from the mountains to the forest territories a while after the original group left. And, you know, Quiet Rain like runs up to them and she's been hurt. So I thought maybe one of them has a story to tell about, like, yeah, we got some information. We did get a little information in the books. I can't remember if they were like prologues, epilogues, or if they were bonus chapters, because it blurs after a little bit. But I thought one of them might have some more story to tell in that department. It's hard to tell. I think Sun Shadow would be a good one, especially because he ends up becoming deputy of Shadow Clan. But Quiet Rain would be great too. I mean, she's got quite a bit of personality, so it would be interesting. Who knows? Then for number 4 was Stormfur. And Stormfur I picked only because the Tribe Cats haven't been relevant in the series lately. Like, in A Vision of Shadows, they didn't go visit the tribe at all. Which I do think was a good thing, because we had so much journeying to find Sky Clan. It was like, it would have been really a headache if we had to go see the tribe. But Tawny Pelt's Clan was actually a really good novella where they kind of checked in on the tribe and we got some little bit of information on how they're doing. And I was kind of like, you know what, that's actually a good way to do things maybe from now on. So instead of them seeing the Tribe Cats in the Broken Code arc, I'm like, well, why not just give Stormfur a novella, so that way he can have a little bit of a spotlight and we can kind of go into how he's feeling and things like that, what he's doing. He could, pass even in the book because he's pretty old. He could die, that's fine with me, as long as we get some details on his family and how he thinks about the tribe, just something like that. Maybe check in on him, and that way we wouldn't have to journey to the tribe. We could just get right into their culture and how they interact without the clan cats there, which would be kind of cool. Anyway, moving on to number 3 was Lion Blaze, and I only say this because I feel like Lion Blaze is on some thin ice. I usually can really accurately almost predict which cats are going to die. As soon as Stenleaf was introduced, I'm like, this cat's dead. But he did. And when Berry Nose became deputy, I was like, that cat's dead now. Poor Berry Nose. But now Lion Blaze is the acting deputy, and I'm like, uh-oh. Not just that, but in general, Lion Blaze is pretty old, and I feel like the first cat of the 3 that's ever gonna die is gonna be Lion Blaze, because Dovewing is sweet, and she's a mom, and she's, younger than the others, so I feel like she's good, probably. She's probably pretty safe, I think. I could be wrong, obviously. I'm not always perfect in this prediction kind of thing. I didn't see Rose Petal dying at all, so I'm not perfect on this, but I usually can get a good feel. And Jay Feather's just going to be almost immortal, I think. He's just going to probably retire as a med cat. I mean, he may not, but I kind of feel like he's grumpy, he's old, he was born old. No pun intended, no joke intended there. But Lion Blaze, I feel like, would be the first of the 3 to die. And, well, now that he's acting deputy, he's kind of got a target on his head, and I am worried about him. But it would be interesting to get his POV, but not in the books, actually give him a real character arc where he grows and changes and develops, and it can be at any point in his history. I don't know. I just think he has maybe a chance, especially if he's gonna die. It'd be nice to have one last little Lion Blaze POV, but something good, something that's actually really, really interesting and explores in his head a little bit. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. And then number 2, and this one I feel like is really, really strongly going to happen, and that's a POV of either Rootspring, Bristlefrost, or Shadowsight. I am a little bit concerned about Shadowsight making it through this arc. I could be wrong, but I kind of feel like he's also, I can't really say, because I'm like, would they kill a main character? Would they pull a Greywing and do that to us? I don't really know, to be quite honest with him. I don't know how far they're willing to go on this arc, but I definitely feel like he's sketchy. But Rootspring or Bristlefrost would be great, especially Rootspring, because he's got a lot of room to grow. Bristlefrost is pretty mature and pretty responsible, so I don't know that she's got a lot to grow in as a short story, but Rootspring for sure could. Maybe. Who knows? But I think one of them has a chance, maybe, of getting some kind of novella to explore a little bit. Especially if, I don't know, if Rootspring and Bristlefrost will end up being mates by the end of this arc and have kids. Maybe one of them has some thoughts on that. Maybe Rootspring's scared to be a dad, or maybe Bristlefrost's scared to be a mom. I have no idea, but it'd be interesting. I really wish Shadowsight would, but I don't know. But I think one of them has a high chance of at least getting a POV somewhat, maybe. And then number 1 is Alderheart or Needletail. I think that it's probably going to happen. I'm guessing Needletail, honestly. She's probably the number 1, I would guess. Because I definitely think she had no POV in A Vision of Shadows, so it'd be interesting to get in her head, and she has room in there that you could maybe, they could maybe go into why she abandoned Shadow Clan, how was it for her with the kin, that kind of thing. It would be interesting, but Alderheart's in there too. Maybe he'd get one. I don't know. But I feel like one of those, not Twigbranch or Violet Shen, but I feel like Alderheart or Needletail have a chance of being a novella, maybe. So anyway, those are all my predictions. Basically, I think Leopard Star will get the Super Edition after Gray Stripe's Vow, and after A Warrior's Choice, I think Needletail will definitely be in that book. Probably, most likely. I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. Like Spot, for what really shocked me, that she was getting a novella, and it kind of definitely sealed the deal that Stemleaf was dying, because had he lived, I think it would have been him getting the novella, not Spot Fur. Yeah, as I keep reading the Broken Code, I'm like, yeah, I guess it makes sense. Spot Fur is pretty relevant, but she surprised me. I didn't expect her to get one so soon, at least. But anyway, so those are my predictions. I hope this was fun. I'm not saying that these are facts. They could be very wrong, but I definitely, had fun doing this. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!